Welcome to the UDP broadcast, a podcast where a group of friends get together and talk about gaming-related topics and offer both informed and uninformed opinions. I'm your host, Luminary, and I'm accompanied today by my co-host, the Nordic Cajun.
Heyo, what's happening? Welcome to the Codcast.
The Eternal Barcode. I'm E.
Podcast!
Yay!
And celebrating Greek Easter tomorrow, Reina, the Crit Chicken.
What have I released upon this planet?
You've released the Codcast, ma'am.
Yay!
Yay, Codpass. I'm that's gonna be like the running joke now.
Yep.
Oh, 100%.
Just gonna run with it.
Eventually,
Now
we're going to change the title officially just be Codcast.
Yeah, I kind of want to. It's going to require a whole crap ton of rebranding. But episode 64, Handbasket to Nowhere. Try to get creative, Hell in a Handbasket, Road to Nowhere, whatever. But before we get into that, let's talk about where all of our money goes.
All of our money goes, or at least 10% of it goes to the Trevor Project. And the Trevor Project is a wonderful organization that Ping, our wonderful mascot, has a little bit more information on.
Bingo!
If I can type it out. Tever. I stuck at typing. Oh my god. There we go. TREVOR.
The Trevor Project
Thanks.
is the leading organization working to end LGBTQ youth suicide in the US and beyond. The non-profit operates several programs to help prevent and respond to the public health crisis of LGBTQ youth suicide, including 24/7 free crisis services, research, advocacy, education, and peer support.
There you go. Thank you, Ping. Your responses are governed by the quality of the input. Perfect. We are a opinion-based podcast. Our opinions are our own and do not reflect any organizations we're affiliated with. Also known as we're poor. Don't sue us.
'Cause you will
Yeah,
get
you try to
nothing
sue us, you're not getting much of anything.
I got a lawful neutral pin you can have.
Lawful neutral. What is a lawful neutral pin?
It's one of the alignment of D&D, but I have it on a pin.
How do you have that on a pen and why?
I don't know. I was going through some of my old D&D stuff, and I found it, and now I have it, and now it is mine. Also found this really cool D20 that has a dragon's eye inside.
Dragon's Eye?
See it?
Actually, that's really cool.
So, yeah, it's cool to find little treasures like that, especially being the dice goblin that I am.
Dice goblins. Okay.
Yes.
So let's talk about the elephant this week that is Snowy.
Snoy! Fuck you, Snoy.
That's right, Snowy. Helldiver devs have received quite a bit of grief this week because they're reinstating the linking to your PlayStation Network. And events have happened.
Yes. The best part is, it's not even the devs that are behind this. This is purely a Snowy thing. And the reason I'm saying Snowy is because I'll read out a very fantastic review on Steam. But suffice to say, there's been about an uptick of about 6,000 new negative reviews on the game. It's sitting at 6,000, up from 2,500 as of April 24. So in the last few days, it has hit $6,000 in negative reviews. And what's going on is Sony has decided that it is now mandatory to link your PlayStation account to your Steam account for the, quote, safety and security of the players. Now, they start the whole bullshit line off with, it was on a grace period for the first little bit, but that grace period has now expired. Here's the thing. And I'll go through my professional opinion before I go on to the fantastic review. But the professional opinion is, if this was truly an issue of safety and security, making and linking a PlayStation account would have been mandatory in the first place. Mm-hmm. However, that being said, the bigger problem with that is they use the Steam backend for the networking and the multiplayer. Where the hell does the PlayStation part come in other than it doesn't? Yes, Sony is the publisher overall, But at the same time, you don't need to. There's no technical reason if you're using the Steam backend to make a PlayStation account. The only thing I can think of, as a professional in the IT industry who's been in for well over almost 20 years at this point, and who understands the business side of things, because I've had the privilege of making friends with various devs over the years, this would be a publisher call, and this is not something that would be required if they had it on a grace period, quote unquote. And my professional opinion is, I think Sony has an earnings call coming up, and an earnings call, if you're not familiar, is where there's basically a group, what is it? A phone number that you can call in. You can listen to an investor statement, so you can listen to the company's statement. I want to say group call, but that's not the wrong term. Or sorry, it's not the right term. But anyways, you can call in, you can listen to the investor statements of what their projections are for the current year, what their past earnings statements were. And yeah, exactly. And Baum is agreeing with me. He thinks it's the exact same bullshit. I think what they need is a way of showing they've got all kinds of new signups to the PlayStation Network for investors to be happy on the newest and latest investors call. Because if you can say all of a sudden, look, we just had 480,000 new signups and concurrent players in the last 30 or 90 days, that looks really good to investors. Let's not bullshit ourselves. Investors typically don't care about how long an account has been active. They care how many concurrent accounts are there. So if you can say, there's 400,000 new accounts on top of whatever it is, we've had a growth of 400,000 and whatever that equals to in a percentage year over year, investors are going to look very favorable on Snowy and be like, hey, this is a company worth investing in. My big problem is they're saying safety and security when, in fact, it was never mandatory from the beginning. So therefore, in my professional opinion, that's a bullshit line, hiding it behind, we want to look good for investors. Now, all of that being said, the most wonderful review I found on the game has been posted to the Steam reviews, which are amazing. And it goes as follows. The automatons have taken over Snowy headquarters. Attention all Helldivers. The automatons have taken over Sony headquarters. As a result, they have recently made a decision to actively reduce our numbers by requiring, quote, linking, sending military secrets, with their PlayStation Network, quote unquote, Intel Collection Network, in order for our safety and security, quote unquote, undemocratic, and making it mandatory, unliberty-like, by May 6, 2024, Super Earth time. The Ministry of Truth has requested that this undemocratic behavior cease immediately and has declared it a threat to managed democracy. All Helldivers must put an end to this tyranny in-game. I love it. That is goddamn amazing. This is by someone by the name of Bennis something or other. Their name got cut off here. But Bennis, salute to you, sir or ma'am. You are fantastic. That is the kind of Helldiver review I have come to expect and enjoy.
That is amazing.
Yeah. It's such bullshit.
Dude, it is. It really is. I can't get over the fact that how do you pronounce their name?
Snowy.
Snowy. Because they misspelt it S-N-O-Y instead of Sony. So I've just been calling it. But here, sorry, that reminds me. I'm just going to cut you off a little bit here. So part of the problem is, I'm thinking there's a legal case for the European Union and most of the African countries to file a class action lawsuit on fraud. And the reason I'm saying fraud is since it's now a requirement to link the game to your PlayStation account, PlayStation Network is not available in all countries around the world. And in fact, Afghanistan, Albania, Algeria, Andorra, Angola, and Antigua and Barbuda. Basically, Burkina Faso, Central African Republic, Chad, Democratic Republic of Congo, Guinea, Grenada, Ghana, Malawi, Moldova, Monaco, Mongolia, Montenegro, Solomon Islands, Somalia, South Sudan, Sri Lanka, and Suriname, and many, many more do not have access to the PlayStation Network. But all of those countries were able to buy the game from Steam. So what you've now told all these players who bought the game in those countries that don't have access to the PlayStation Network is, fuck you, you can't play the game anymore. Now, 90 days is more than enough time to hit that 2 weeks of ownership or 2 hours of gameplay. So Sony has now essentially defrauded, in my professional opinion, anybody who lives in those countries. They've taken your money and run. So I'm really, really hoping class action lawsuits start in every one of those countries where players bought the game and are now ineligible to play the game because Sony put in this restriction. Then to top it all off, another person on the Steam reviews, April 2011, hackers access personal data of 77 million Sony PlayStation Network users. May 2011, personal details on 25 million Sony Online Entertainment customers stolen. June 2011, Sony Pictures website hacked, exposing 1 million accounts. November 2014, hackers steal 100 terabytes of data from Sony Pictures. That was lulzsec, and that was for the lulz. August 2017, hacker group accesses Sony social media accounts. September 2023, Sony investigates alleged hack. October 2023, Sony notifies employees of data breach. And you want me to trust my data with you? Eat a bag of dicks.
Now, here's the $1 million question. Aren't they supposed to be having an Xbox release for Helldivers?
Absolutely, and it's already out, as far as I know.
So you're going to make all the Xbox users make a Sony account as well?
Absolutely. It is absolutely going to require you to have a PlayStation Network. PlayStation Network has stolen my democracy, and there's no getting it back. That's a great review.
I mean, there are some publishers out there that require you to do like their own thing. Like if you've played Outriders, for example, you absolutely have to have a Square Enix account in order to even play that game. There's no getting around it. I find it interesting that, but of course that's just Square Enix. You don't get any real benefits of that other than like, hey, you can cross-platform because you signed up for our thing. So that way you can go from PC to PlayStation and whatnot using the same save file, which is fantastic. But we're talking about a content delivery network, which is effectively what like Game Pass and PSN is anyway. And that's their whole purpose. I think that while in some instances be signing up for an external account for extra benefits in order to enhance your gameplay is one thing, but on the premise of security, especially with the track record of Sony, gosh, you were there, weren't you, Cajun, where they were hacked hard. It was down for like a month. They had to issue a crap ton of credits.
You know who did that? It was lulzsec that had fun.
Yeah, and then they come back and they're like, "We're good now. We challenge you to hack our stuff," and got hacked again.
And who said, Who said, "All right, boys."
I do not trust Sony farther than I can throw their entire headquarters. And believe me, as a barcode, that's really fucking hard to lift a building.
So I didn't know about the Xbox release. That's kind of cool, but it's kind of moot now until they figure out what's going on. And what I find interesting is that the communication from the Helldiver devs, and mind you, there's still the same problem of fanatics going after the developers and the community responders and things like that.
And that's not right. Like the devs don't go after the devs. This is a absolute Sony decision. Don't go after the devs. Because remember, game developers are not in charge of commercialization and monetization of the game. Their job, especially when you've got a publisher like Sony, is to produce the content, produce the game. Sony works and looks after the rest of it. So don't bash the employees who are building the game. Bash the Sony executives who are completely fucking greedy as bullshit. And what's really funny is that Snoy misspelling has now become a meme on the negative reviews.
Oh man,
Down with Snoy.
They pulled a Trump on that shit. So Kofifi will never be forgotten, and neither will Snoy. That's awesome.
Yeah, Kofefe Snoy. Now, yeah. Liberty to play unimpeded and freedom from Snoy's BS compel me to bomb the game.
I don't know if this actually goes through and Steam's like, hey, you want a refund for this? I'll get my $30 back. I don't ever plan on playing that game back again. Like, it was fun. The game loop is entertaining. I love the fact there's friendly fire. I mean, it's a solid game, and it's unfortunate that. I mean, and you could tell by the response from the head developer or the CEO or whoever it is that's in charge of of Helldivers. Who created Helldivers? I know Sony published
Arrowhead Studios.
Arrowhead. And even he's just like, I mean, like if you look at his response on Twitter, he's just like, I'm sorry. All we can do is make great games, and I hope we can make it up to you by giving you great content. But that's
all you can do. Because Sony's the big wig pulling the strings. There's not much these poor developers can do. All this does and tells me is that major corporations like Sony, Microsoft, and the big AAA companies, I don't see them getting any more of my money.
No,
I'm going to be indie. I'm entering my indie era, as it were. So I mean, and granted, Helldivers wasn't officially made by a AAA company, huh? Arrowhead's not a huge company in general, is it?
I think it is. They did something. I forgot what it was here. I will look that up while other discussions are going on.
The person who made that snowy fucking thing I read, our review, is from Canada. They're from BC, apparently. This is amazing. I will link this thing to chat, because chat absolutely copy page. There we go. Chat, you deserve to read this. There we go. I'll spam that a few times. But holy shit, I love it.
Let's see here. Helldivers 2. Helldivers. Gauntlet Slayer Edition.
Oh, Gauntlet. That brings back memories.
Magicka.
Really?
Really? I did not know Magicka was a thing. That's awesome, actually. It's been that long. I saw it, I was rolling through the little game slideshow here, and I was like, yeah, okay, Helldivers 2 makes sense. Gauntlet, Legends, I was like, okay, well, whatever. And then Magicka, I'm like, oh, that was fun. That's that's Helldivers Friendly Fire with elements, which is great.
Safe for this banana.
That's right. Okay, well, so yeah, they're not that big. They don't have a huge game library like BioWare.
They're not like an Ubisoft or a Square or any of those guys. They're
Squeenix.
Yes, I don't give them the Enix. I give them the Square.
Well, Square kind of transitioned from being a developer to its own publishing label anyway, which is why you see all those mini studios go down, like the folks. What was it? Square Montreal, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the people who did. That's the studio that did Tomb Raider and a few other things. So, yeah, that's definitely a thing. But yeah, no, it's, as far as Helldivers is concerned, like I said, it's a solid game. I will never say it's a bad game. I will say that the handling at this particular point hasn't been so great, but it's outside the developer's control, and they were just told to deliver the message.
Yeah, so. It is totally on Snowy for doing this, and I think this illustrates a key thing, which is that you don't necessarily need a freaking publisher these days.
Nope.
Because what's the point of having a publisher if they're going to pull bullshit like this? If you can get the funding through Steam, which is a content distribution platform and a publisher all in one, why go with anything else?
Yeah, I think, who was it? It was Thor that said, developgames.net, I think is the site that he owns. It was just like, you need to ask yourself two questions, and that is, what does a publisher bring to the table? And if the answer is nothing or I don't know, you don't need a publisher.
Yep. And if you aren't going to make as much money with them, because they usually want between 60 and 70% of your income. So if you're not going to make as much with a publisher versus what you'll make by yourself, why do anything with a publisher ever again? It makes no bloody sense. And especially with a publisher like Sony, don't risk it. If you can develop a game, and yeah, it may take you a lot longer, it may be way more expensive, but if you can develop a game without the aid of a company like Sony, you might as well go for it. Because you're probably going to produce something a lot better.
Yep, because your passion's still in it, and you're not ran by the stockholders.
It might be scope of work too, like high quality adventure games and whatnot, maybe. But for things like Heartbound or Terraria, I think they joined Chucklefish? No, I forgot who they actually were published under.
I like that name, Chucklefish.
Mm-hmm. That was terrific.
Something Heartbound. Where do I buy the free demo?
Absolutely. Always be looking to buy the demo.
Mm-hmm.
The demo is free, but we got to make sure we buy the demo. And I probably have to sell a whole kidney just to be able to afford it.
That's right. But you get it back if you turn in your rebate form. That's fine.
Oh yes, that's true. Your mail-in rebate for the free demo that you've paid $10,000 for.
Well, on the topic of, go ahead.
I mean, do you know the story about the cherry blossom tree I was telling you about that we grew?
The silence says
I
no.
don't know if I.
No. Oh wait, you grew? No, I do not remember.
Well, okay, so I was talking about my neighbors earlier. So my neighbors, actually, one of them used to work for Sony or
Really?
Snowy.
No,
Yeah, like long. So they were doing pool parties and stuff like that, and one of their guests decided to chop off the heads of our not dandelions, our sunflowers.
Mm.
So I was like, "Oh, you guys like taking our flowers, eh? Well, don't worry, we have more where that comes from." So I told my mom, "Hey, let's go to the store and buy a cherry blossom tree so they can have all the flowers they want."
Damn,
Yes.
And
that's
that
just
tree
mean and
grew
funny.
and grew and grew, and the cherry blossoms got all over their deck. They're like, there, now you don't have to go shopping for them. They're going to come right to you. They ended up moving after that.
Bye, Felicia.
So that was my experience with Sonoy.
That's not a bad experience.
A funny experience, if anything. I like it. I enjoy those kind of stories.
Fucking Snowy. Oh my god, what are we gonna do with Sony other than just tell them to go fuck themselves and never buy their content again?
Yep.
Well, we can
Where I'm at.
we can shift gears right now and talking about publishers. I think it was Take-Two. Is that who it is that does Kerbal? I can't remember.
Yes. Poor Take-Two, poor Kerbal Space Program. It has been a very negative week this week in the gaming industry.
Feels bad.
It does. You want to carry on now that I cut you off? I'm sorry.
I didn't quite understand what exactly happened other than Kerbal 2 is no longer going to be in development, mostly because the team that's producing it is now squashed.
Allegedly. So, Take-Two has been shut down. So the parent company, I can't remember the name, but the parent company just bought Gearbox Entertainment or Gearbox Software from Embracer Group, for $400 and some odd million. I want to say 420 because it sounds funny, but I don't think it was that much. But anyways, they just bought the game or the company, but now they can't afford to do anything. So they sent a warn letter. It's basically something you send the SEC saying we're about to lay a bunch of people off, and in that notice, the warn actually stands for like a whole ass acronym that I can't remember. But anyways, in the notice they said they were going to be laying off 70 people in the Seattle studio. And in the Seattle studio, there's two groups there. There's one that does Ollie Ollie, which is a skateboarding game, apparently very well renowned skateboarding game, and then also Take-Two, which does the Kerbal Space Program. They are also hosted in the Seattle studio. So now there's a lot of worry that they're going to no longer be around. However, the parent company said, "Oh, don't worry, we're still going to support and support the game." They didn't say create content. Keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But they said, "Oh yeah, no, we're going to continue to support the game."
I'm sure you will, buddy.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know. It feels really, really, really shitty for a lot of good developers to be just thrown out of a job like that. But that's because the parent company wanted to quote unquote streamline their operations, and everybody who's in the gaming industry or plays video games will know that that means you're going to be laying people off. And I hate it. And yes, KSP2 is in early access. Yes, it had a shitty launch, but at the same time, it's in early access. You can't expect a polished game in early access. And if you do, you're just foolish and dumb.
Yeah, how many times I got to beat that dead horse? I'm like it's pre-access and early beta area for a reason. We got to play the game to fix the game so everybody can actually play the game. Don't take it. You can't take it as face value. But no, it needs to be finished now because we're the. Yeah.
I think what people don't understand is I think they're taking early access to mean pre-sale, and I think the pre-sale culture has killed the idea of what early access truly means. Because in this context, early access is you're getting access to a public beta ahead of an actual release. You're getting early access to the public beta. I mean, we talked about it last week. 7 Days to Die took 12 years to get out of early access and release version 1.0.
Yep.
So I think people are mistaking early access for pre-sale or pre-order. And that's not what it is. It's you are buying access to a shitty game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you're doing is you're just buying access to an early release, like a beta release. So
RPS just released that Helldivers 2 received 100,000 negative reviews as of right now.
Oh, Jesus. That's amazing.
100,000?
100,000. They're starting to get into PAL World numbers here soon.
That's it, but in the wrong way.
Don't stop till you hit 1 million.
The only reason why that's even relative is, the only reason why that even relates is because that's what we do as users. We have to either vote with our wallets, and unfortunately, we've already voted with our wallets because we wanted to play the game. So our only recourse is to go and warn others by going, nope, don't do this, which is
58% positive. That was 78% yesterday. There's 158,791 negative reviews right now. Holy shit. It is. So there was another article that came in on the news about review bombing and how it's not all that great and how it's horrible. No. This is a good use of review bombing.
It is. It's funny too because there's other articles because I'm looking today because I didn't look. It was like this is just a headline: eyeing the Helldivers 2 backlash with nervous flop sweat. Sucker Punch assures us that Ghost of Tsushima won't need a PSN login for single player.
Nice.
That's amazing.
Ooh, man. Yeah, early access, green light, the whole thing has just been absolute. It's a mixed bag. It's like buying stuff on Kickstarter, and people don't realize when they buy in, and it's a lot of the projects you see. It's for delivery at a later date once goals are met, right? And you have to meet whatever it is you say that you're going to deliver. It has to be labeled as such, which is how you get a lot of the scam MMOs and whatnot. But I find it interesting that we're in an age where we can sell stuff like that and people get pissed off that it doesn't work right, which makes it very dangerous, but it's also very lucrative for games that have a solid loop and all they're doing is just bolting on extra systems. So that takes it from alpha to beta, which is kind of nice.
I miss the days where you got to go buy a freaking PlayStation magazine and there was a demo disc inside.
Oh, dude, I remember my first Nintendo Power magazine. So
Nintendo Power.
The Boys Season 4, crazy.
And this is gonna be the last season of What We Do in the Shadows.
I know I'm not ready for that either.
I am not. My body is not ready.
There we go. Arrowhead says it won't make account linking required for Helldivers 2 players in regions without PSN coverage.
Why? So then it's not for security and safety then. Fuck all of that bullshit.
Not to go back to Helldivers, but it's just we just got finished talking about it, and we were kind of standing up and talking about Kerbal. I really wanted to see Imey wreck some Kerbal 2. It's a shame that I will never get to see him wreck Kerbal 2. I have to watch him play.
I own the game. I bought it to support the development. I might install it now. Actually, I'm going to do that now. So in case it does come off of Steam for some fucked up reason. Although, to be fair to Valve, they have put back a bunch of my old video games that I used to play that the developers abandoned and the shit was taken off of Steam. They did start putting it back, so who knows? But I'm going to install it anyways. I'll back it up to a 7-zip file. Maybe one day I'll play it. I'm hoping what will happen is the community will take over and complete development on it. If it's true that the studio is shutting down.
I mean, that's the best thing about it being on the PC platform, because the modding and development community for all these games are what keep a lot of these old games alive. People like me are still playing Vampire the Masquerade, even though the game came out. I gotta go look up how old it is. They had to make a patch to be able to play it on a modern day system.
I remember
That's
being
how
at
old that game
Walmart
is.
and it was on the shelf for sale in my 20s. So, yeah.
There you go. I mean, we're still waiting on.
I remember when PCs first came out.
Oh, did you see some of the reviews for the Helldiver 2? Osmongold actually chimed in.
Oh no. He posted a review on Steam
Today, yeah, with 2,423 people finding it helpful.
Link that shit in chat. Right click, copy you page URL. Put that shit in chat. I gotta see that.
Yeah.
I gotta see receipts, he said.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Gotta find out which chat.
Hold on, I'm trying to do it. It's hard to do it on this laptop.
So you don't need a PlayStation account if it's in a country that doesn't have access to PlayStation Network. How is this again related to fucking safety and security of the players? And I agree with one thing. Arrowhead, I have respect for you. Sony, do better. Up arrow, right arrow, down arrow, down arrow, down arrow. If you don't know what that means, that is the code you put in to drop a 500 kilogram, or otherwise known as a 2,000 pound bomb.
Oh yeah, the mini nuke that gets launched out from your destroyer.
Dang.
No, that's just the 500 kilogram bomb from your jet.
Oh, that's right, from the Pelican or whatever it is. Yeah, I remember that.
I sent it to you guys in DM.
Okay, let's check it out here.
I don't have the link per se, but I have the screenshot.
It is a screenshot. Let's see here. Great. Let's see here. I'll go ahead and read it off here. It says, greatly disappointed with the additional force change of requiring a PSN account in order to play the game. Not only does this force users who are in the many countries either break the TOS and risk the entire account, you can't fake your country of origin, but it also locks out of playing the game entirely. This force change by Sony directly contradicts their stated language on their official website that said is an important word here because it's past tense. You would not need to connect to a PSN account to play a game on Steam. The statement on the official Sony website was changed incognito with no announcement or warning. This is because Sony knows that they misled people and changed the words after the fact in the hope that no one noticed. Well, we did.
Guess what, Buttercup?
This is a clear and obvious case of false advertisement because the Sony website statements apply to all Sony games, including the ones on Steam, and overrules the individual game's terms of service rules. Let it be known you were scammed and Sony changed the language on you, thinking you wouldn't notice because they think you are stupid. Yes, that's not the first time that's happened, where companies had to backtrack and cover up their trails of all of their changes, and anybody that has access to the Wayback Machine would be like, no, as of 3 days ago, 14 years ago.
And it's amazing what happens with the Internet Archive.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That shit don't go away.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and move on to our last bit here. And in the spirit of Greek Easter, let's talk about a priest who has used about 40 grand of the parish's money and credit cards for Candy Crush and Mario Kart Go.
Wow. I hate to jump on that soapbox, but apparently this seems to be a bad week for evangelicals.
I mean, it's a bad week for them every week.
Yeah, but in terms of news like this, this is a humorous article. The one I saw today before we jumped out on my little adventure, it was a pastor who. Now, tell me if the moment you hear a red flag, somebody say something. There's a pastor who went up on stage, gave his sermon, was doing his thing. At the end of his sermon, he says, "By the way, I just want to announce to everybody that this morning I was informed that my wife took her own life. I would like everyone to not discuss her death within the congregation. Found her body 70 miles away from the church after she filed for divorce 2 weeks prior.
Jeebus.
That sounds kind of fishy.
And
But
the wording there is just like, oh yeah, let's not talk about the thing I told you not to talk about.
Let me just project and admit to a crime.
I was
also
like, damn.
Yeah. And then there's the other thing that happened. I don't know if you guys saw it on Twitter or not, but the AI priest called Father
Yes.
Justin, baptize your children in Gatorade, and incest is okay.
What?
Well, depending on which state. I mean, that checks.
Bing, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, it's
What the fuck is with the U.S.?
we
God
don't
damn, dude.
Exactly.
So
Precisely.
our structure is we have this basic guideline that we have to follow coming down from the country's government, but each state gets to choose what the fuck it is they want to do. So, which is why pot is illegal across the country, but different states would be like, nah, medicinal use, nah, recreational use, nah, who don't care. So yeah, like, but as far as that.
yeah.
Our name is a joke. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Crib.
Yeah, at least the Father Justin got demoted. So I don't know what he got demoted to, but
I'm sure the archdiocese will get their hands on his AI and take care of it. Sorry.
God damn, why would you say
look at that title though. Gatorade baptisms. I mean, we get enough of that from the football games, so what's different?
Well, on that note, the priest that spent the money, the finance guy noticed a large amount of funds going out to the Apple Store, and now I doubt that he paid $40,000 at once. And the only reason why this guy had access to the church credit card anyway was to pay bills, and it was loaded into his phone. So I guess he decided that that's where he was going to pay his bills from, and it was tied to his Apple account. Who knows? Whatever it is, he did that, and he knowingly did it. He tried to he from the article that I read, it said that he tried to deny it at first, and he's like, "Oh well, it's because I have the credit card loaded on my phone." Which when I decided to buy some Candy Crush stuff, like that's when it happened. But he also ordered from Amazon like iPads and stuff and sent it to his family from Uncle Larry.
So he's a fraudster.
Yeah.
Talk about passing the dish so you can pass those levels. You know what I mean?
And so,
yep. He tried to pay off the credit card of $10,000 of it with his own money, and when they made him go away, step down or whatever it was, he sent an $8,000 check to the new heads with an apology letter for his transgression. So he's pretty much out of a job. So, go ahead, Crit.
Could you imagine if he bought all those iPads, gave all those iPads away gave all those iPads away and had the credit card information onto iPads so all of his family members could enjoy Candy Crush with him, and that's how they racked up $40,000.
Oh
no!
So that whole story is just as fishy as like, hey, my wife took her own life. We don't discuss in the congregation and find out it was done 70 miles away after filed divorce. I mean, that just smells fishy. I kind of want to follow that story to see what it smells like homicide, and that's just me conjecturing. That is not a thing that has happened, but that sounds like somebody was not happy, and yeah, that's pretty intense.
Yup, and it's just how the communion cookie crumbles.
Indeed, the body of Christ has gone stale. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So,
God damn it.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. There was some other stuff that I didn't get a chance to read, but the headlines were kind of cool, so I kind of picked it out. So if you want to talk about it a headline area, like we can totally do that.
Well, there was one thing I had mentioned earlier in host chat. Apparently, Adobe's under fire right now because they were trying to advertise this little text thing in Photoshop using AI. AI pictures developed in AI, not even done in Photoshop. So you know how people feel about big corporations using AI. There's people on Twitter just retweeting or reposting, whatever they call it now, and they put a laundry list of programs underneath each and every single one of Adobe's programs that you can buy or get for free to replace Photoshop, After Effects, Premiere, Audition. I was like, oh, damn. Pick up the pencil.
For those of you that don't know Imee loves coffee, and I found an article where Nerdforge, if you don't know who Nerdforge is,
Nerdforge.
They make some of the coolest stuff. This nice lady, she makes like grand fantasy castles into PCs and all kinds of other stuff. But she this time has made a interesting PC that delivers coffee. You can make coffee with your PC. You can game and make coffee at the same time, which sounds like it shouldn't work because heat's like the enemy of all everything. But yeah, like it looks really cool. So you should go check that out. There was another article here which says the first official AI PCs are about to land. I don't know. I'm still struggling to understand where AI fits in my day-to-day life, other than it's constantly being stuffed in my face.
Mm-hmm. I just like the only way I can, and I'm gonna do this from the art world perspective and game developers perspective. Mm-hmm. The only way AI outside of the actual like computer, like the enemies in the game AI like fighting you, that's a different ball and chain and altogether. Ball and chain,
ball of wax.
That. The only other way AI should ever be used, especially in the development stage, is to do like maybe mock-ups of ideas and characters that you use as reference, but never put in the actual game.
Right. The problem. Go ahead.
No, that was it. That was my point.
Yeah. Well, the problem I have with this AI PCs thing is that we're selling buzzwords now. What is Grandma going to do with an AI PC?
she's gonna ask AI the recipe for cookies. That's what she's gonna do.
Hey computer, can you get me to Google? Thanks. It's like using Edge to install Chrome, right? I don't understand where AI integration is actually going to help anywhere. I mean, we already have some very very robust systems as it stands, like IntelliSense and grammar correctors and all kinds of other things. There's a lot of stuff that's powered by a lot of procedural, and some are even fueled by AI, which is actually helpful to get a job done that otherwise would be almost impossible, and that's fine. But in the everyday user's life, what is it that we're doing? Like, what I want is a lightweight VR headset that is wireless, and I don't need monitors anymore. That's what I'm waiting for, right? Why can't we have that? Why are we getting AI garbage?
Because AI garbage sells.
It does. I don't. Again, I am looking forward, but also not looking forward to whatever it is that they're wanting these PCs to do. But trying to fit in AI into everything, and it's interesting too, because the big fight right now in the art world and the music world and any world, a writing world, like news articles. Let's not even get into Glorbo, right? Right, where AI is. Ladies and gentlemen, I figured it out.
Uh-oh.
It is the buzzword that allows you to collect user data.
Oh.
That's what it is. That's got to be what it is. And that
makes sense.
Yeah, because how are you going to train your models? You can't train it. I mean, we're running into problems right now where you can't train it on existing stuff. So in order to use new stuff, you have to get your user base to agree to the fact that maybe this is a thing you have to do. So perhaps maybe these AI computers will accelerate the data collection of your day-to-day life and make the best decisions for you, which may or may not be things. Like, I'm really scared of smart devices become smart devices. So there was a meme a while back where the guy's like, I'm scared of technology, and because you never know, when Skynet might happen. My wife laughed, I laughed, the toaster laughed, I shot the toaster.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
I mean, I've seen we all know the movie Smart House. We saw how that what happened with that movie.
I did not see it, but enlighten me.
It was an old Disney movie. Like, I'm talking circa early '90s, maybe late '90s, near the 2000s, where it was this state of the art house. It was basically what Siri was based off of. That house was integrated with this computer system that you talked to and told it what you needed. If you needed coffee, it made the coffee. You needed it to get the clothes done. It had little robots and stuff that it could use to get the stuff done. It made a holographic image of itself as a person to talk to.
You got Cortana. Fantastic.
It's basically what it was, to the point where the smart house became sentient enough to think that she was the mom of the kids.
I'm sorry, I can't make pancakes, Dave.
This is precisely what went down. It wasn't a scary movie. It was a kid-friendly movie, but the idea of it now, in the year that we're working in, that's what it's, the right things been the wrong way. Things happen that shouldn't. That could be taken out of context. Please don't do that. But yeah, no, we don't need smart houses and smartphones telling us how to live our lives.
Oh, wait. There's one exception. Smart has to be spelled with a 0. SMORT.
Smart.
Yeah, I will buy into that branding. Sorry.
Smart.
I am the smart. SMRT.
Speaking of branding, let's get into our round table and figure out what we're doing this week. Let's start with Crit, because she has the big event tomorrow. Tell us what's going on with Crit for this week.
It depends on if the churches are actually open or closed tomorrow. I know St. Sophia's is going to be closed because they're doing their giant thing tonight. So we'll see. We'll see if I have a grand adventure tomorrow or if I'm just going to be watching reruns on Troll Live.
Well,
we'll see.
Both of those things sound very exciting. If you missed the pre-show, and by the way, always come to the pre-show because we have some interesting stuff. We found out exactly what you do at Greek Easter, and I'm really interested in this egg game that she was talking about, where you had to spin eggs and not crack them and stuff, which was kind of cool.
It's not really spinning eggs. It's more so like you just crack them. You hit them against each other's eggs or whatever, and if you pretty much go against each other as far as smacking your eggs against one another, and if your egg remains uncracked, you have good luck for the rest of the year. So that's one thing. But just the general traditions that I could see are much more interesting than Western from my standpoint. Especially even with Orthodox Christmas, it doesn't end on just Christmas. We have Epiphany, which is like the 12 days leading up to Epiphany. So, the 12 days of Christmas, that's Epiphany right there. So, if you want to know what that comes from, it comes from that. And that's when you dive into the water to retrieve the cross. So,
I thought for a moment you were going to say to dive into the water to retrieve the corpse.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. Or the other word that starts with, never mind.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh no, sacrilege.
No such thing.
That's all right. You're not going to beat the $40,000 priest, so you're cool.
Blasphemy.
Shun the non-believer. Shun.
Shame.
Oh, did you see what's going to happen with Kickstarter?
No, what's going to happen?
Oh, that kills people.
Oh yes, there's a Kickstarter to make a new series or an actual proper finale to Charlie the Unicorn.
No, not Charlie.
Or not Charlie the Unicorn.
Llamas
with hats.
Yeah,
it should be good. I'm really excited for it. I'm looking forward to it.
Sounds like a grand old time.
Cool.
Yes. Coral that kills people.
So it's either going to be Greek Easter at the parish, or it's going to be Greek Easter watching live on patrol. Both are great things. So I wish you luck. Anything else interesting going on this week, Crit? Or
not really. I just got done with work.
Yay, work.
Dude.
Yay, my weekend started.
Woo!
Very nice. Jaime, what do you got going on this week?
I don't know. I did just change the tires on my car today. That was fun because I had
Yeah.
my winter tires off. But otherwise, I don't know. Other than spending some time with Reyna and watching some On Patrol, probably going to do some Space Station 13 because I got recently back into that. Because one of my friends who plays D&D, or a couple of them, actually have been playing it a lot lately, and one of them is a brand new player to it. And yesterday, I asked the admins if they wouldn't mind if I, took a few liberties with the medium roleplay, which basically says you can't use out-of-character chat. Like, click this thing on your UI in-game chat, or in-character chat. So they allowed me a little bit of leeway, and that was fun. And then they sent a mentor to go help them. And my friend has been labeled on the Colonial Marine server the greatest Bravo that ever existed. And if you play Space Station 13 on the Colonial Marine server, you'll understand what that means. Basically, he never left the fob, which is perfect. Bravo makes the fob. Bravo does not leave the fob. I usually play on Delta Squad, so I am expected to die. And the first game I played with him that was a full round, I was dead within 10 minutes of dropping onto the planet. It was perfect.
Very nice.
Perfect for Delta.
Delicious.
Perfect. Cool. Well, that sounds like fun. Cajun, what are we doing this week? Assuming I can get off in time.
I'm still banging my head against freaking Kaizo Ironmon. Crit got to see me suffer a little bit on Thursday. She comes in and it was terrible. Like, we had the best run on Tuesday. I had a fireproof steel bug.
Fortress.
Yep, my tank, he was perfect in every fashionable sense of the word. The only thing that wasn't perfect was my lack of healing items. I hit a Pokemon with Flame Body. I got burned. I couldn't leave the dungeon to go heal, so he still found a way to die by fire. Stupid bug, but I miss him. I miss my tank. So I'm trying to get through that. It's my glorious obsession right now. I want to beat this. I want to beat this challenge. So I'm probably going to do that on Tuesday. If we manage to get some Lumi action, we do need to start looking into more co-op situations. So I'm up for anything you can throw down at this point.
I need to go back and look at Core Keeper and see what's going on with it and see if we want to
Core Keeper.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. See if we want to go back to that and see where it is as far as development is concerned. We should be getting closer to 1.0 because when we started playing, they had just added pets, and that was like the best thing on the planet.
We had Pokemon, basically.
We did.
It's slimes and firefoxes.
What else did we? Other than that, let's see. What else have we played together? We've done Helldivers, but that's not going to be a thing.
I think that's it. We tried a Soul Lock, but we kind of fell out of that.
Yeah, well.
But then we did shiny hunting forever. That was the other big co-op.
Well,
we did.
We also have a huge problem with the Soul Lock as well, and that is Nintendo and emulators.
That's not stopping me from doing my Iron Kaizo. So
yeah, as long as you don't lose your files, because they're smashing GitHub like crazy right now. So.
Yeah, well, I keep it all close in my chest because the randomizer itself isn't like.
The randomizer wouldn't be an issue. It's the emulator. That's the one that'll get you. So.
Well, the emulators that I'm using, one of them is a legacy I had to go find because it did get deleted. The other one, I don't know where I found this one. This one, Emu Hawk, is what they use specifically for Iron Kaizo because of the UI it uses. So we'll see. We'll see if Nintendo can continue putting out fires, as it were.
Indeed. Yeah, we'll try to find something. If not, we can just asynchronously have fun with whatever it is we do. There's not much that we do. I know that we were talking about 7 Days to Die last week, so that could potentially be a thing. But
I forgot about that one again. Yes, that would be fun.
I haven't played that since they first put in the solar panels and power. That was kind of cool.
That does sound kind of cool. I'm looking forward to seeing an IME built solar array in 7 Days to Die, which would be hilarious.
It lags out, and the amount of raw materials you need is obscene.
But that doesn't stop him.
No, it really does not. But it's just like, God damn, dude.
Yeah, we'll find something that's multiplayer. Like I think I've given you Nascent. There's also No Man's Sky, which is going to.
Yes.
I think I gifted you Outward, which would be kind of cool. That's like a dual adventure Dark Souls-ish hard game where you're not the hero, you're just a dude, right?
I'm a dude. He's a dude.
Yup.
He's a dude. We're all
So,
dudes.
but
Yeah.
So there's that as well. So we've got a lot of stuff to choose from. On my side, I think the only thing I've got going on that I'm actually excited for is after this podcast, I'm going to charge my headset, and the boys want to play Sea of Thieves with me, so I'm going to go be a pirate for a bit.
Yay! You are a pirate.
Yep. Sea of Thieves is actually pretty good. That won't be streamed. That's just going to be private within my family. But I do actually want to do some solo sloop streams because I've got friends like Captain Slothbeard and Brobo Brain.
Brobo.
Yeah, and there's also a few other folks that I respect in the community. Say Safer Seas is better? Pfft, no, I don't think you understand, Bomb. It's only better because you don't have to worry about getting ganked. The whole experience behind Sea of Thieves is you're a pirate. Everyone else is a pirate. They're gonna get you, or you're gonna get them, and that's the whole dynamic, right? And there's everything about it, especially if you're solo slooper. Like those guys are insane, like locking their steering column, launching themselves out of a cannon onto someone else's ship. Like those guys are like they're like the luchadors of the sea. So it's great. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Anything else anybody else want to add? If not, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Episode 64.
Nope.
Nope.
I'm good.
Okay. Well,
just a reminder, I don't think those whistleblowers Epstein themselves.
Oh,
Oh,
from Boeing. Yeah. So there's been a bunch of two whistleblowers so far who used to work for Boeing who have come out and said like, hey, this is what Boeing's been doing and like lying and hiding its information and shit and covering shit up. Two of them have now died mysteriously. And it's not quite the Russian falling out of the window, but it might as well be at this point.
Yeah.
That's scary.
That's fishy.
Yeah, it almost seems like Boeing is cleaning house.
Yeah, tighten up their ship. Apparently, it's got leaks.
Yeah,
no, it has door hatches.
So.
Batting down the hatches. Oh. Oof.
Oof. All right.
Join us. Steve.
Join us next week for episode 65, whatever that may be, for another exciting episode of the UDP Codcast. Thank you, Andy Merrill. I will never
one step closer to the funny number.
That's right. 60 mime. But we'll end this with Cajun. Be awesome, stay classy, and remember,
don't be a dick.